Kwadcast Nation, this has been in the books for a while, okay? We're on a mission today, folks. We have the illustrious, infamous Sam Laprade. Welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here. This has been in the books for a while, and I got to tell you, it was probably in my books way before it was in your books. But yeah.
I don't know about that. So, number one, guys, we're talking to a legend here in Ottawa. I'm afraid to do this. I'm going to try and do this without wrecking the. Oh my God, there we go. Where I said I was going to try and not wreck things, but the illustrious author. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa, Maine.
With my friend Caroline Phillips, I wrote that with her. Yeah.
Carolyn. But we're on the show today to talk about your health journey. We've been on the phone texting each other saying that you got some health goals. And what we're going to do today, folks, is illustrate using the press method how we're going to come up with a plan for Sam's success. Okay? Yeah. So are you ready for this, Sam?
I am so ready. Although you're standing and I'm sitting, and I feel like I'm already starting off on a bad foot.
Hey,
but yeah.
Hey, before you know it, you'll be standing too. Don't worry.
Wait.
So first thing we often talk about, Sam, is the why. The P in press is for purpose. And we talked about the why last year, but with more like thought towards this, why do you want to try and get healthier?
In one word, Avery, my daughter. Yeah. To be around for her. I'm afraid I'm going to start to cry on you. But yeah, I think probably from my perspective, I'm 54 years old. I'm about to be 55. She just turned 18. And, I hear her talk about, getting married someday or, all the goals she has. And every time I'm like, I want to be there.
I don't know if you get much more of a powerful why, Sam.
And I think I'm a single mom, as you know, Dr. K. And I think from my perspective, there's just a touch more pressure in terms of being a single mom. And I think for so long, and probably up until the minute she turned 18, which was just recently, I was like, I just need to get her, I need to get her so she's self-sufficient and she's going to be okay and all of that. And now, and I'll use the word selfishly, I want more. Like I want to see her at 28 and 38 and 48. And I want to be here for all those milestones.
And you should want to be there for those milestones. As someone that has lost both parents and seeing that they didn't get to see some of those key moments, that hurts. And so I think leaning into that mission, that why, being there for Avery is something that we'll tap into often, because there's going to be times where you're not going to want to feel like getting up or eating what we're going to talk about. But when she's front of and center in front of mind, that's a pretty powerful incentive.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that's the why.
All right. So you guys heard it here, guys. Avery is that why. And this is something that we're going to be talking a lot about. Mm-hmm. So the second component is when it comes to restoration, sleep, stress management. Out of 10, Sam, how would you give your stress levels on a daily basis?
Is anyone else listening, or is it just you and me, Dr. K? I think it's not.
The world is listening.
The world's listening. We had this conversation about a colonoscopy once, and the world was listening as well. So I'm an open book.
Yep.
I would tell you that and you know this already, I love what I do. So the stress isn't that I don't love what I do. I just do a lot of stuff. So when the garage door breaks, or I need to be here for a plumber, or those are those moments life kind of causes those stress. It's not the work. So there is some stress. And of course, being a single mom and everything going on in the world and opening up any newspaper or listening to any newscast, there's a lot happening in the world. So yes, there's stress. You mentioned another S word. Dare I say sleep? So I know you know this already. We'll just tell everybody. I am a horrible sleeper, just being vulnerable about it. There's been times where I will finally get to sleep at midnight. I will wake up at 3:00 in the morning, and I swear there is a menopausal 3:00 in the morning club that I belong to that I'm paying some sort of membership fee for, because I wake up between 3 or 4:00 in the morning, and because I'm a do girl, getting stuff done, I just end up jumping up, or I end up doing emails, or I end up doing something. And then what happens is, and this has happened a few times, and this is probably one of the wake up calls of reaching out to you, is that, I live outside of the city. Like, I live in Ottawa, but farther out. And so there's been times where I've had to pull over at a gas station, put my seat back and have a 30-minute nap because I'm nervous I'm not going to make it home. And I'm nervous I'm going to hurt myself, or worse, I'm going to hurt somebody else. So that's my sleep, and it's not great. I've tried lots of different things, but I am open to making that better.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, Sam, like, when it comes to the restorative and the stress management, the sleep is big in your overall health. It's massive because sometimes, like, I hear a lot, especially in the perimenopausal space, that 3 a.m. club is common, but also what also is common is that people in a high stress state, when there's a lot on their mind, at 3 4 a.m. wake up is quite common as well.
Mhm.
And you mentioned when you get that 3 a.m. wake up, you start working away. And is that on a computer or on a phone?
Usually phone.
Yeah.
The odd time I'll clean out a drawer. I just, I'm always doing something. There's another club I belong to, and I really think it's important to talk about this because I don't think very many people talk about it as openly as they should. I belong to another club that I do not want a membership in. And that is, my mom has dementia. I'm an only child on top of being a single mother, on top of being a sole entrepreneur. So you take only child, single mother, sole entrepreneur. If it doesn't get done, it means I didn't do it. So, caring for my mom, and, she does live in a home and all of that, but, there's a lot there. Sometimes she calls me at 3 o'clock in the morning because she thinks it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's lots there in terms of just managing, and being that, that sandwich generation. I talk about the sandwich generation. I'm baloney in the middle because I feel like baloney half the time. I'm sort of smushed between two things. And so that club definitely adds to the stress and impacts the sleep.
And like as you said, like when you got a sandwich generation where you got to deal with the youngin and the parent, it is frankly it's stressful. So it's that definitely is whether you, I mean, you're saying it's a contributor. I couldn't see how it couldn't be a contributor to the amount of stress that you have to deal with. Because yeah, it's not easy when our loved ones aren't, like, when you especially your mom or your parent is reliant on your support. It's heavy.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
super. Okay. So I guess one thing before going on to the nutrition side is, what do you find is a good way to manage your stress if you are feeling stressful, like, or stressed? Do you have anything you like to do to try and reduce your stress, whether that is going outside, whether that's doom scrolling on your IG? Like, is there any strategies that, whether they're good or bad, that you end up tending to
I was
lean on?
I was thinking, how honest does he want me to be? Because I'll be honest with you. Uh, well, I have a couple of besties, that certainly are unpaid therapists, that I lean on. I've got kind of a core group of my friends that we're all going through the same thing, to be frank. So we do lean on each other. They tend to do one of two things. So I tend to either, do that doom scrolling, or being a busy bee, as I call it. So if I keep super busy, that means that nothing can happen that's bad, which I know isn't true, but, or I can't get out of bed. So I've got two modes, on and off. So I'm either super busy doing 1,000 things, or it's a Sunday and I roll out of my room at 3 o'clock. So it's not often that happens, but it actually, I'll be frank, it does scare me a little bit when that happens, because I know people that, sort of suffer with that on a daily basis. And so I really try to make sure I do that, because I've been an asthmatic my whole life. And this isn't meant to be an excuse, but when I grew up, how they managed anybody that had asthma was you sat on the bench and kept score, because they were so worried that you would get an attack. So I don't have a lot of those sort of skills. I kind of pushed myself. I don't know why it was making me emotional, but I pushed myself and I joined the basketball team. I certainly wasn't the best. I ended up being the manager or whatever. And I really wish that somebody would have able to help me manage the asthma as opposed to it being she can't do anything and go sit down, you know? 'Cause I didn't learn a lot of the sports skills.
You're an only child too, so, like,
Yeah.
you know, the siblings to lean on and
Yeah, and I think too, like my parents, God love them because they lost a number like my parents lost a number of children and miscarriage and one was a stillborn and my brother died of sudden infant death syndrome and I'm the only child. So they did sort of package me nicely in plastic in many ways because they were
bubble wrap. No, it's, I mean, you put yourself in their spot, like, you absolutely would. Your only daughter, beautiful daughter, asthma, you don't wanna see another loss. No, it's, I'm sorry, yeah, just real sorry to hear that. I was a fellow asthmatic, so I could empathize the need to be careful or if the feeling that people needed to be careful.
But I will tell you, I just wanna say something because this is the thing I'm actually most proud of, is when I had my kid, I put her in swimming right away. She played soccer until last year. That was one thing I was like, I just really wanted her to make sure she had those because I see those as life skills, and so I really wanted to make sure she had that. So I didn't wanna see it generationally become a thing.
That's amazing because, yeah, I mean, there's so many, as you said, life skills. I could spot from a mile away, as an example, even at work, if somebody played a team sport. I could
True.
spot it almost immediately, just the way they're carrying themselves, the way they're working with the team. It's so valuable. I don't want to beat this point up, but like, is there anything that you find that helps during those like during those stressful times?
I'll
Like,
take
I
a
know
hot
we're staying in
also.
bed. I know.
Yeah.
Is it like? Is it? What's that?
I like to read. I'll take a hot bath. But in terms of like, do I think to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a walk?" No. And and I've got 3 dogs, Dr. K. They're probably listening right now. So, these dogs are like, "Why don't you take us for a walk?" But, though, like, I wish that those were the things that came to mind for me. And it's just, I don't know why I don't think, "Oh, I'm gonna get outside. Oh, I'm going to burn off some energy or I'm going to do something physical." And I think, for me, not to belabor as well, I just think it's just not, it wasn't part of kind of my core. Right. So I don't lean on those things, but spending time with friends and honestly, watching something silly on TV or whatever is also part of it, but it's not, yeah, it wasn't my go-to, unfortunately, to do something physical.
Oh my god. So the easiest way I think to navigate this would be walk me through assuming that your last few meals are typical for you. So thinking about either yesterday or the day before or the weekend or today, when would you eat and what would you eat? And I'm not too worried about quantity, but just giving a sense of what the food looks like and the description.
Okay. I was hoping we are gonna get a bad connection or something, but no. Uh, so I typically don't eat during the day, so which is a real problem. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm not having breakfast. I very, very rarely have lunch. Like as of, kind of it's whatever, it's late afternoon and I haven't had anything to eat today. Um so what typically happens is I'll have a dinner and so a dinner can be, as you know, I'm out a lot. So probably 3 times a week I'm out somewhere, either at an event or I'm hosting something or I'm at a restaurant or something like that. When I'm at home, I would say probably half of those other meals I'm cooking myself. So, I'll make all sorts of stuff, like everything from chicken to steak to hamburgers to, um, I make some cool soups and lasagnas and stuff like that. But during the day, and I don't know if it's just, and I'm talking to like you, which is you're the busiest person I know. So I can't even use this as an excuse, but I'm not great at planning it. And so I end up grabbing a couple of clementines or like I'm not eating a lot of protein, which I know is a big part of your message. So I've heard you for sure, but I need to find a way to just make it a priority every day and start. And I've since I was a kid, I didn't really eat breakfast. So this is like this is a 40-hour or 40-year problem. This isn't something that was just in the last decade. Uh,
You hungry in the morning though?
I'm not, and I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why. And so my big
Nothing wrong with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so my big problem, and a little while ago, we had talked about intermittent fasting, and that actually, I started doing that, and I actually liked that, so that I would sort of say, okay, I'm going to eat something by 11, and I stopped eating by 7. So my big issue is on the other end of it. So because I'm working sometimes till 11, 12 at night, a lot of the times I'm only eating starting at 7 o'clock at night. And so by the time I hit bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, well, no wonder I'm up, because I'm sometimes I feel like it's sitting on my chest, if you will, like in terms of eating, right? And sometimes, like even at events, people are very surprised that I don't, especially if I'm hosting something, I typically don't eat very much. So for someone let's just lay it on the line. For someone that's chubby and for someone that needs to lose a lot of weight, what I'm eating is crap. So, I'll grab a handful of chips. I'll grab crap, to be honest with you. So, and it's not that I don't have I'm very blessed. I have the means to get some good food. So I have no excuses really. It's about prioritizing myself. And if we go way back to the beginning, it's about my why and it's about Avery, and I need to make some changes.
And Sam, when you say like the crap, like the chips and all that stuff, you're saying that's at night, like after a meal, or is it like as a primary meal?
No, not as a primary meal, but it'll be snacking. It'll be, we'll buy a thing of, I don't know, pastries or something, and I'll have a paste. Like it's just stupid stuff. So it's not like actually, to be honest with you, when I travel with my friends, they will actually say to me, you actually don't eat a lot. It's just that I eat crap. So it's not that I'm eating like big giant meals every day. Like about maybe twice a week, I go out for breakfast, and usually it's because it's a breakfast meeting, and that'll be a nice meal or whatever. But I'm not getting up in the morning and making myself 2 eggs. The other thing that I've
And
got a real love of, so I've traded men in for cheese. So no more men, but too much cheese.
are you sure it's too much? Like, are you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think 54-year-old chubby women should be eating a lot of cheese, but
And that's also before bed too, eh?
yeah. Yeah.
Like, or
And
okay,
that's why I'm saying when I did the intermittent fasting, like sort of eating between 11 and 7, I actually did drop some weight. And I was trying to drop some weight because we were going to Australia for 5 weeks. And I just knew that every pound that I was taking down under was going to make our activities just that little bit more challenging. We want to do a lot of walking and stuff like that. So was able to drop a bit of weight there. The other thing that I have I feel like I have to tell you this. I have a real problem. I love dumplings. So we'll probably get dumplings once a week
you
and that
love
kind
what?
of thing.
Sorry.
Dumplings.
Yeah, dumpling.
Yeah. So we ate a
Okay.
lot of dumplings in Australia.
And like, is it normal portions, or you hitting up like more than you would be comfortable saying?
No, I would say it's a normal portion. It's just we're doing it, once a week or something.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is everyone's like your suppers are mostly real. Like you say, you're cooking up some steak, chicken, some kind of wonderfulness like this. But then the kryptonite is the snacking at the end of the night,
And the lack
and
of movement, to be
it
honest.
doesn't sound like a sweet thing. What's
It's
that?
it's sweet. And I was just gonna say, and I'm not moving a lot. So that's, I know we're focused on nutrition, but I'm not moving a lot. Sweets is a problem for me as well. I've never said no to a Kit Kat, that kind of thing. Um, if the other day, actually, I'll give you this example. I hadn't eaten all day. It was like 6 o'clock at night. I need to get gas. I ran in, grabbed a Kit Kat, paid for my gas, and that kind of thing.
Beautiful. All right. All right. So next we'll talk about exercise or movement, I should say. Do you use an Apple Watch?
No, I had one many, many moons ago, but I don't even know where it is, to be honest,
You have
anymore.
an you have an Apple phone, or you
Yes,
have an Apple?
yep, I have
So
yep.
if you okay, well, do you know how to look up your step count?
So it's under health, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Or
and
do you sorry again?
I don't want to show you today.
No, you don't this it could be yesterday or
Oh,
or
yesterday was,
if you have a sense of what your normal step count would be,
um,
if you had to
I
guess.
would say on average, depending on kind of what's going on, um, I would say the average would be, well, I'm just gonna look here actually. So, like yesterday, for instance, was 7,100. The day before was 3,000. The day before that was 5,300. and then 3,000. I would say the average is probably 5,000. Here's one day where, oh yeah,
And
there's one day I did 12,000, but yeah.
and do you do any form of weights?
No, I just pay for the gyms to exist. I don't go there. So I actually have a gym membership and it's actually very close to my house. I just got a membership when we got back from Australia and I really wanted to go close to the house. And I will tell you, I've never darkened the door. I pay for it, but I've never ever gone.
Which one is
Anytime Fitness in Richmond.
I got you. Okay. And what type of activity do you like to do? Like if I were to say a mix of you got fitness classes, you have walking, you have skiing, you have some form of sport, which it doesn't sound like based on what we talked about earlier, it doesn't seem to be a big component of yours. Dancing. What brings you joy or what would be a excuse me, a light lift for you?
So ironically, it would be a bit of cardio and the weightlifting. So as you know, I collect husbands. So before my last before the last time I got married, I actually dropped about 40 pounds and I had hired a trainer and we were doing weights and we were doing all that stuff. And I felt stronger, which actually I appreciated even more than the weight loss. Because I feel a bit cranky now, so it's the way to be honest with you, I enjoyed the weights and I enjoyed a bit of the cardio that we did, and I actually, considering I'm as overweight as I am, I did quite well doing that, so and I liked the fact that it was on my own. I have done, like, I used to belong to another gym, and there was, like, a drumming class, and one of my best friends and I used to go to yoga once in a while, but the teacher but I always like, if there's 30 people there, I guarantee you I'm the worst person that's there in terms of doing it. So the teacher then was focusing on me. So I would literally go into the classroom. I'm like, don't look at me. Just don't like, just pretend I'm not here because I just, I was just embarrassed like that I was so just not good at it. So I prefer just to do things on my own or with a trainer, but one on one. But I didn't like being called out all the time.
Not classes. Get your hips up. Yeah, I'm believe it or not, I'm pretty similar in those classes because I have no flexibility.
Oh, that's funny.
Hockey's not great for that.
Which is gonna sound ridiculous, but it's the truth, is I have 2 different sized feet by quite a difference, and it's actually, it's an actual problem. I mean, most people don't even notice, but a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, you're limping," So I'm a bit off kilter, like, I know that. I go to see an osteo and, like, so she's trying to help me with that. So I have one foot that's quite a bit smaller than the other ones. It's just I'm always a bit off. Like, I never really look like look like I know what I'm doing that way. So I think it just didn't help with the yoga, then it kind of made it even more pronounced.
And is it fair to say from a connection perspective, last ask that it sounds like with your girlfriends, you feel like you're in a good spot?
Well, my girlfriends are amazing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I honestly, other than the fact we don't live together, I feel like it's the Golden Girls, but we're cuter. But yeah,
You guys need a show.
yeah, I just feel like I'm very blessed, and I have a couple of really, really good guy friends too, so, yeah, I'm very lucky to have such a beautiful support network.
So when I'm hearing about the different aspects of health, like it sounds like your purpose is very clear. So there's a few reasons why it's important. If your goal is to be there for Avery, it doesn't necessarily we're not looking for six-pack abs. We're looking for function. We're looking for like strength, function, longevity, like being healthy enough to be involved. And so that kind of shapes what the vision is and it actually makes things a lot more attainable if I'm being honest. The aspect when it comes to stress management, certainly the sleep to me is one that's screaming as need for help because we sleep affects everything the mental health side, the clarity side, the motivational side, and the metabolic health side. It's one thing I've done with a lot of clients or even just colleagues is putting on a continuous glucose monitor where it gives you a sense about what stresses your body and I yeah, and the sleep is a massive one. Like it's harder to have that better regulation when you have poor sleep. So that's clear to me. Also on the nutrition side, we got some work to do. We could definitely hit that up. And certainly from the movement side, there's there's stuff that we could do here. So my question for you is the big principle that I like to focus on Sam is just to focus on one or two things that are the lightest lifts, but could also create the biggest impact. So when you think about creating change in your life when it comes to either your sleep, your eating pattern, or moving the body more, which one seems to be the most, would be the hardest one to get to lift off, you think? Like what would be the
Sleep.
hardest one to really be motivated for?
Sleep.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Okay, so sleep is the hardest one to get the lift
Well,
on.
it's
Okay,
just I need
and
to,
then
like,
when it
yeah.
comes to, so go ahead. No,
No, I need to, from a sleep perspective, I need to be honest with you, say, like, I can't be out 4 nights a week, right? So because if I get home at 10:30 at night, I'm not going to bed right away. I'm usually not in bed, like, doing a load of laundry, I'm doing with the dogs, I'm with my kid, so I'm not in bed until 12:30, and then this menopause club, the alarm goes off in my head, and I'm up.
all right. Okay, that's helpful. And actually, one other thing before we move past sleep, are you at all like how much are you on your phone before bed?
I can never fib to you. Like, I cannot fib to you.
It's this face.
You know that I'm falling asleep like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to stop.
All right. None. Well, you should, but that's a big lift. So I'm gonna come up with two and a half things that we're gonna try and focus on. So the first one that we'll talk about is the exercise component. So you got this gym membership and you feel like one-on-one working on one-on-one is your preferred route of getting stuff done. If you had to choose between making sure we get to that step count versus getting to that gym, what do you think would be more attractive to you?
Step count.
Okay, good. Because honestly, that's going to be more realistic. So your goal, if you're averaging, I'm saying 5,000 steps a day, I want you to hit that 6,000 mark.
Okay.
That's your only job daily. So you
Okay.
are going to park a little bit further. You're going to use a bathroom that's further. If you're up for it, even though the weather's kind of licks, getting the dogs out, the three dogs out, or the derivative of that.
Uh-huh.
Ideally, if you want to feel the best in your day and you want to reset that circadian rhythm and get yourself better sleep, first thing in the morning, that's what you do is get outside with your dogs and get them going, or even if it's just around the block. That's going to increase your alertness. It's going to help you fall asleep better at night. It's going to make the dogs happier, and as a result, make you happier. It will kill a lot of birds with one stone.
Okay.
So that is going to be, for now, when it comes to movement, our number one priority. Just get to that 6,000 mark.
Okay.
That may mean you're walking, even if it's too cold outside, you're walking around the kitchen and you see on your watch or you see on your phone, get to that 6,000 mark. Dr. K said it, and I'll be checking in on this.
Well, I know you
Okay.
will.
Yes. The second one we're going to work on is you are going to absolutely amp up your protein intake. We'll get to the snacking and all that stuff later. I'm not going to overwhelm us with ideas, but that's for sure something we'll need to work on. And the simplest thing in terms of getting that protein intake is either making sure you eat it first. So if you are making sure you're having that, you're cooking that steak or you're cooking the chicken, that's the first thing you ingest, not the rice or whatever. You're going to have enough meat on the plate, and that's going to be your priority.
Okay.
The second thing that we could do is this is not for everybody, but I think because you're on the go and you're less likely to do food prep, I'm just going to say this is what we're going to do. We're either going to a protein shake that you could have when you feel that first sense of hunger. It could be whenever you feel hungry. So if it's going to be in the mid-afternoon or whenever you're feeling like that hunger Jones,
Uh-huh.
have the protein shake and then see how you feel.
Uh-huh.
Or a protein bar. We could do, I like the smoothie idea. Smoothie versus shake versus bar is my preference. No, let me rephrase that. Real food, smoothie, protein shake, protein bar.
Okay.
The shake is a lot less of a lift. You just put the protein powder in, you could put your almond milk in there, shake that up, you're ready to go. Or you can make your smoothies before you go to work. I will, once again, work with what is most realistic in Sam's world. I
Oh,
don't want a big lift here.
okay.
And I will send you protein powder myself if that's the way you want to, that's the route we're going to go. But at the end of this call, you're going to tell me what you think is going to be the easiest lift for you. The 2.5 one,
Yes.
before getting into if you think this is doable or not, the last tip, I know I said I'd only do two, but this one is not, this one's just a cheat code. If you're going to be on your phone at night, use blue blocking glasses. $15 on Amazon. You could do even I don't know if those are readers or
They
prescriptions that you're
are.
wearing.
Yeah, the readers.
Which one?
These are readers.
Readers?
Yeah.
So you're going to go on Amazon after this call, pay the $15 for blue blocking readers. Do you know you're like a 1.5 or whatever you are? And you put those on and you are going to enhance your sleep because that phone that you're looking at, the screen that you're looking at right now, is emitting blue light right as we speak. And because of that, it's suppressing your melatonin. So the very last thing you want at 3 in the morning is to do this and to stare at your screen because the hormone that you need to sleep is being suppressed.
Okay.
Uh,
That's good advice.
so that's the easy hack. You don't have problems falling asleep, right? It's just the waking up.
Yeah. The falling asleep once I actually make it to my bedroom is fine. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the other option would be some magnesium, but I don't think if you're not having trouble falling asleep, I don't think it's necessary. It'll be a bonus, but not an absolute essential. So to summarize, we're going 6,000 steps. We're doing protein first and adding some form of protein as first meal or as first ingestion, and we're doing blue blocking glasses. Very simple. So I guess my last question is, in your mind, if you had to put if you had to make a decision early, what is the best way you think you could ingest your protein? Shake, smoothie versus
Well,
bar
I prefer shakes, to be honest with you. Or smoothies. Sorry. I
shakes.
prefer
Okay.
smoothies. Sorry, smoothies.
Smoothies?
Yeah.
And you feel like you could commit to making them in the mornings?
Yeah, I used to do it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why I stopped doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we are going to send you some protein powder. I'm going to send you vanilla because it's the best one.
Okay.
And we are going to check in. We're going to repeatedly check in, me like via text, but we're going to check in a few months to see how this journey is going.
I can't wait.
And if you feel at the 1 month mark, if you're feeling like you're doing well with the current regime, we're going to
Mhm.
stack it. So if you
Okay.
tell me, Dr. K, I'm like loving this protein thing. I've lost a couple pounds now. I'm getting my step count on. Then we could talk about what's next. But and like there's and I'm a big believer of just creating that habit, creating that healthy habit, creating the wins. So for you, the process is the win. I don't care what the scale says. You got to 6,000 steps. We're
Mhm.
celebrating that.
Okay.
That's a W for Sam. And if
Okay.
you need a little bit more incentive, if you're gonna watch Netflix, you got to hit that 6,000 step first.
Right.
If you need a little bit of
Smart.
yeah. And lastly, Avery's not in the building, is she?
Yeah, she is, but she's busy doing something. But yeah, she's here.
Okay. You're gonna tell her exactly. I'm your accountability partner, but you're gonna tell her exactly what Dr. K, the prescription
I will.
was so that you have a little bit of an accountability partner. Does
I
that
love
sound
that.
reasonable?
She'll be up for it for sure. Yeah. Yeah. For
I
sure.
love this.
Yeah.
And
It'll be great.
like I said, Sam, focus on the process. We are gonna get you home. We're gonna get you feeling better from yourself. And I hope this was helpful.
Very helpful. And I love that it all feels manageable. So that's a big part of it for me.
That's what we gotta do. Anyway, Kwadcast Nation, stay tuned. We're going to have more to say about this in a few weeks. And Sam, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I can't wait till we do this again.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dr. K.